tech or entertainment field. I've been a lawyer for 8 years now, and it's been a pleasure. Like Tamarix already said, Lawyers Without Courtrooms was birthed from the desire to see, especially young lawyers. I mean, we're young lawyers as well, but I guess younger lawyers, to see the opportunities that are out there for them, something that we didn't have coming up. And we believe that it is something that a lot of people need. And the truth is, older lawyers as well. We have people even older than us that are still trying to figure out their way in the legal practice, what to do, what specializations to have, and all of that. And so this is to open up your heart and open up your minds to the possibilities that exist outside of the courtroom. If you just started studying law, or you've been in you've been a law student for some time, or maybe you're even in law school already, you might have gone through a season or a phase where you felt like, what is this law practice? It doesn't really make sense to me. It doesn't really inspire passion, or it seems boring, or whatever it is that you might have felt. And so the purpose of Lawyers Without Courtrooms is to open your heart and your mind to the possibilities and the many facets that law has. I often say that people joke about it a lot, but a law degree is really a wonderful degree to have, because you can enter every single field with a law degree. There is no field that doesn't have laws. There is no field that doesn't need laws. And so there is always something for you out there. You could be an engineering lawyer. I don't know. You could literally be any kind of lawyer. You could be a civil engineering lawyer, like you could niche down specifically. And that's the beauty of law. Or you could have general practice, whatever it is that you choose to do. The important thing is that you realize the opportunities that are out there. And really, that's what Lawyers Without Courtrooms is. And so we're very excited to have you here on the call with us today. We hope that you take something away from it. Tamarix Law is very passionate about this. Like Tam said, this is something that's going to be ongoing every quarter, hopefully for as long as we will be here, and we will be here for a very long time. So it's a pleasure to have. We have about 20 people on this call right now, and really we're very excited to have you on. Please drop your questions. If you already have questions, please drop them in the chat, in the in-call messages. We'll definitely ask those questions and answer those questions as we go on. And yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. So I'm going to be introducing our speaker for today. She's going to be talking about different opportunities. And it's very important to just point out the fact that she's practicing in a different area of law, or should I say in a different structure as opposed to what many of us are actually exposed to. So it's very important. I would like us to actually listen, pay attention to her profile as I read it now. So our guest speaker today is Rachel Mann. She is a legal practitioner, a researcher, and a judicial education professional with a strong commitment to justice system reform. She's a graduate of Afe Babalola University. She was called to the Nigerian bar in 2018, and she recently earned an LLM in Energy and Natural Resources Law and Policy from Nile University of Nigeria. Her career has evolved from litigation practice to high-level legal research and judicial training. She currently serves as a research fellow at the National Judicial Institute, where she contributes to legal publications, judicial training, and stakeholder engagements in partnership with international organizations like the UNODC and the EU. Rachel has played key roles in national legal reform projects, including manuals on trafficking and criminal justice administration. I'll just repeat that. She has played key roles in national legal reform projects, including manuals on trafficking and criminal justice administration. So if you're interested in that, then you have to pay like triple attention to what she has to say today. Her work reflects a deep investment in improving legal systems and access to justice in Nigeria. She's known for her clarity of thought and passion for impactful legal practice. And Rachel is committed to mentoring young lawyers and bridging the gap between legal education and real world application. So she brings to this webinar a grounded perspective on the legal profession and how to find purpose beyond the classroom. And with this, I would like us to clap for her as she's about to speak. Thank you very much, Miss Rachel. Thank you for gracing us with your presence.
Thank you so much, Tim. Thank you,
Thank you.
CK. Yes, thank you, Tamarix Law.
Yeah. So I would like every single person, every one of us here, to introduce yourselves in the comment section. So tell us your name and tell us where you're from. So tell us your name, where you're from. If you have any questions, please put the questions in the chat box as well, and we'll get to it when it's time to answer questions. So like I said, post your name, where you're from, and what your interests are. So if you are from Unimade, say, my name is Tem from Unimade. I'm interested in energy law. My name is Buki from Unijust, and I'm interested in judicial reform. Whatever it is, let us get to know you in the chat box. And while we are doing that, I would actually like us, we the hosts, we're going to actually share our story with you and why we're doing what we are doing. So like I mentioned earlier, the reason why we have Lawyers Without Courtroom in the first place is because we're trying to expose you to multiple areas of law and different natures of practice. So it's not like it's a different law. There are many things that are going to end up overlapping, but you need to be aware of different options. You don't want to find yourself in a position where you are always you don't want to be stranded, definitely, and you don't want to get to a point where you're burnt out and you think that the only option you have is to leave the law profession altogether. It may just be how you're practicing law. It could even be the city that you're practicing law. Let's say, for instance, you notice that you're only getting land disputes. Maybe you are in a very contentious state, and that is why you are getting only that particular type of cases. Or if you are yearning for something different, maybe your location. It could also be maybe even the things that you do, the things that you know, the things that you put out there, because clients respond to things that they assume that you're good in. So if they see or assume that you're a good family lawyer, you're going to be getting lots of family law briefs. If then this is for people working in law firms, right? And if you are living in a place where most people are farmers, then you will most likely get a lot of land disputes, family disputes. So it depends. So what we're going to do is we're going to explain why we do what we do, and so that you can now reflect on your life and go, if I don't do A, I can do B, I can do N, I can do OPQ. You can do anything. So once again, my name is Tem. I am the managing partner of Tamarix Law. But before I am the managing partner of Tamarix Law, I am actually an intellectual property and entertainment lawyer. Now, I started off as a general practitioner. I was going to court for real estate issues. I was going to court for landlord and tenancy matters. I was going to court for debt recovery and a couple of other things as well. Now, that's how I started. But as I was going, I realized that a lot of the clients that I wanted to work with, and a lot of the clients that, or should I say, a lot of clients that were in the industry that I was passionate about, which is the entertainment industry, were not interested in litigation as a form of dispute resolution. And that's one of the things that informed my decision to go into pure solicitor work as opposed to litigation. So mine was as a result of I was responding to a particular need at that particular time. Now, this does not mean that litigation is bad, but because of how slow litigation can get, because of the damage it can cause to some people's businesses, especially using the entertainment industry as an example. So in the entertainment industry, many things, the value of the intellectual properties that are being traded are very time bound, very time sensitive. So if somebody wants to release a particular song, let's say I'm a piano in 2024, and then there's a court case on it, you guys are litigating on that matter, and you get an injunction not to distribute the song until you've gotten a resolution. The resolution may come maybe from 2024, it may end up coming in 2027. And by then, Amapiano may no longer be a big sound in the music industry. And when it is released, then the value of the song drops or just disappears altogether. or even the distribution agreements they may have had with a distribution company may have already expired. So there's nobody left to distribute the song. They have to enter into a fresh contract. They may have to even change the song. Let's say the people that they wanted to even collaborate with are no longer available. They may have to create new plans and things like that. So for such reasons, the entertainment industry does not enjoy or even welcome litigation. And so as someone who was passionate about entertainment law, I realized that, okay, I had to understand and I had to be conversant with dispute resolution outside of the courtroom. And very importantly, I also had to understand that it was more important to prevent disputes for these people than it was to even resolve the dispute. So they didn't want to be in a position where they had to be going back and forth and winning in court. Now, it's very easy when you're watching TV shows, especially law shows, and you like Suits, for instance, you get very excited at the idea of always winning cases. But in real life, people don't want to have cases in the first place. That is where company structuring comes in. That is where your due diligence and many other things come in as well. So that is my perspective, and that was my experience. That was what pushed me to go into solicitorship, and that is where Tamarix Law was born from. It was born from the idea of preventing disputes as opposed to resolving them. Now, this does not mean we cannot resolve them, but I mean, it means that these disputes are reduced and they are managed as opposed to being in a position where we always have to do damage control. And that is where Tamarix Law was born from. And that is why I am practicing law outside of the courtroom. But before we go to our speaker, I would like to hear from my partner Sike and co-host as to why she is practicing law outside the courtroom.
Thank you so much, Tem, for sharing that. My story is very different. After law school, well, before law school, in 100 level, when I got admission to study law, during orientation, I remember listening to the provost of the Faculty of Law speak about law and just how hectic it was and all that it entailed. And I went back to the hostel that day and I called my parents and I told them I no longer want to study law because this sounds like a lot. And that was not what I signed up for. All I heard was, oh, you're very good at arguing and you like reading books, so you should go and study law. That's what they told me when I was finishing secondary school. And so my mom said I couldn't change my mind because they had already paid school fees for me to study law. And so I was stuck. And in 200 level, I did human rights as a course. I believe human rights or ADR. I think human rights was 300 level. I think ADR. And I was like, oh, this is nice. You know, I see myself doing something around this. And so from 200 level, I knew that I wasn't going to be in litigation. I knew that I wanted to explore ADR, especially arbitration at the time. Fast forward to 400 level, we had to do IT, what some people call IT. And unfortunately, or fortunately, that was the year that there was election petition. I believe that was the year Buhari won his election. And that was my first time in a courtroom in my entire life. And after that experience, I said, yeah, I'm 100% sure this is not what I want to do with my life. Not in the sense of law, because I always had the passion for people's rights, especially, but I knew that I didn't want to go to court. And so that birthed, I said it all the time, to the point that my dad, who is also a lawyer, never pressured me to go to court, never pressured me to even work in a law firm. And so my first job was in lecturing. I was an assistant lecturer, teaching constitutional law, sociology of law, constitutional law, contracts, law of contracts, for about 2 years. And then I got a job in a hospital that led me to practice health law. And so I have never had the law firm experience. I never had the going to court. Well, actually, in the hospital, we had to go to court and represent the hospital from time to time, but it wasn't regular, like, for example, how it would be in a law firm. And so for me, that I think I fell into it. But it is definitely something that, like Tem said, Tamarix Law is built on. It's just that desire to do things outside of the courtroom, the fact that the court takes so long sometimes, Unfortunately, it's not every matter that can be resolved through ADR or out of court. So the constitutional matters, for example, your rights are being infringed upon, crime, most of the time, you have to go to court for that, and it's necessary. So the thing is, litigation will never go out of fashion, whether we like it or not. It will never get to a point where there's no need for litigation anymore. And by God's grace, we will never see AI in court arguing cases. There are too many nuances, at least. We're yet to see the AI that is, they are not yet there. And even if they get there, Nigeria has a very long way to go. So there's always going to be a job for lawyers. I truly believe that. But it's important that we don't all get stuck in the rat race of litigation. And there are people who love litigation, and there's nothing wrong with that. My husband loves litigation, loves going to court, to each his own. But for those who don't, for those of us who always felt like it didn't quite sit right, I mean, for myself, after 100 level, I started learning makeup, and that's kind of what brought me to beauty law. So I learned makeup over 10 years ago. I sound so old when I say that, but that kind of took me into the space of beauty, and beauty and health are very intertwined. And as someone with a background in the beauty industry, it made sense for me to just kind of focus on the things I already loved, the things that were already a part of my life, really. Whether it was hair or skin or makeup, those were already a part and parcel of the person that I was. So the health of that, the law in that industry just made sense for me to combine this thing that I spent 7 years in school for, and this thing that I really love and I'm really interested in. And so that's a bit of my story there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So now that you've heard our stories, your next thing you're going to hear is from our speaker. You're going to be hearing her story as well. But in as much as we've read her profile, there are certain nuances that you only understand from her herself. So Miss Rachel, thank you very much. I just realized I was calling you Miss Rachel like the YouTube lady. Yes, so Rachel, thank you very much for being here. So we'd like to hear your story, how you got to where you are, like judicial reform. How did a law student think about that in the first place?
Okay. Thank you very much, Tem. And to start with, I would like to congratulate the partners of Tamarix Law. You're doing great. I love this platform, and I think you are setting a good pace for people coming behind us. So congratulations. And everyone here, congratulations. Welcome on board. Okay, my story is different. I mean, I never woke up to the dream of becoming a lawyer. I wanted to become a doctor to start with, but my fear of cadavers and blood, but mainly cadavers, pushed me away from the medical field. My mind changed, and then when I was in secondary school, I realized that I wasn't strong in mathematics anymore. So I now had to move to the art class. And then when I moved to the art class, the general thing is that people that do art want to become lawyers. So I just keyed into I want to become a lawyer. So you can see I didn't have everything together. It was a gradual process for me. When it was time to enter university, I told my dad that I wanted to read business admin because he had told me his story and how he wanted to read business admin. But as of then, they just post you after your first year in the university where you take up all the courses, then they now post you to the various departments that they have in that university. He didn't see his name on the business admin list, and someone advised him to go check the law department, and he saw his name there. So I wanted to carry on with his long lost dream. But then he advised me to go for a professional course. He said, why don't you take a professional course first? It gives you a step ahead of your peers. I mean, law is broad. There's so many opportunities in law, and you would find law in every aspect of life. So I went for it, even though I did not understand the advice fully. But right now, it makes better sense to go for a professional course before you can deviate to something else if you discover along the way that you still have interest in some other thing. So immediately after law school, I started working in a law firm. I did my NYC there. So that's how I just entered litigation. Um, Over the years, I realized that I was I wasn't really enjoying myself. Then the sprinkle on top, because I want to be actually truthful to you guys so that you understand how life is. It's not usually black and white. I felt like there wasn't so much money in litigation. Yes, there's money in litigation, oh, when you actually hit the jackpot. But then at the beginning, it's kind of rough, you know. You need some tenacity to continue. Yeah. So I also had a passion for. I always dreamt that I would be speaking to a number of people, grown people like business executives or thereabouts, you know. So this opportunity to work in my office came along, and then I moved there. I'm enjoying what I'm doing at the moment. In fact, last week for 3 days we held a workshop, and I was able to facilitate some breakout sessions, and I realized that I'm really enjoying this, you know. So that's my story.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I like the fact that you emphasize that you're really, really enjoying it, because I guess that's one of the things that people consider when they're trying to choose a path. Is like, yes, there may be money, but will I enjoy it? Will I hate my life after like 1 year, 6 months? And I just want to point this out, but I like the fact that you brought that up. I want to point out the fact that it's possible for you to hate your workplace and then conflate it and assume that you hate that particular practice of law. It's very possible that, let's say, your office was very toxic and it was not litigation that was the problem. It's also possible that litigation itself was the problem. So it's just very important before we make any major career decisions. I would say explore as many as possible, expose yourself to as many as possible, and be sure what exactly the problem is before you make any drastic change. And I believe that with as much information as possible, it's easy to now make like very informed decisions saying, okay, I'm going into solicitorship because of this, or I'm going into litigation because of this. And like I said earlier, depending on your location, there are some states in Nigeria that real estate law and real estate litigation is what gives most lawyers money. There are some states in Nigeria that corporate law is what gives most lawyers money, like compliance and company secretaryship. So sometimes it's easy to understand, okay, where am I? Am I just doing this for money? And let me just put it out there, money is not a bad reason to choose a career path. Passion is nice, but money is not a bad reason either. Providing for your family is not a bad reason to make career decisions. So don't feel guilty when you choose a particular career path because of the amount of money you are getting paid, just because maybe you are not as excited as you thought you were. Because the truth is, even if you're doing something that you're passionate about, you can get overwhelmed, you can get burnt out, you can even make mistakes, so much so that you can even fail. It does not necessarily reflect on that particular thing. And I just want to point out that leaving litigation is not a it's not like a death sentence, or not, let me not say death sentence. It's not a permanent thing. It's something that you can always go back to as long as you're a qualified lawyer. So I just want us to have that at the back of our mind we we move on to the presentation by Rachel. So she's going to be exploring different career paths. Okay, Favor, please can you mute yourself? Thank you. So she's going to be exploring different career paths as a lawyer. And from what she has said, you can already see that she works with the Judicial Institute. And this is something that not many people even understand is an option for them. So she's going to be talking to us about different career paths and the myths that a lot of people have, things that are not true. You know how sometimes you say that, oh, you know this, you believe this in school, and then you come out and then you see something entirely different. So she's going to bust some bubbles that are not worth having, and then she's going to open our eyes to see things that we have probably never noticed or never been exposed to. And with that, I'll move back to you, Rachel. To
Okay,
your
thank you very much.
you.
Thank you very much, Tamari. So, from my little story, I came up with three myths that are associated with becoming a lawyer, which sorry, slide one.
One moment, please. I'm trying to share my screen.
Okay. So I came up with three myths that are associated with becoming a lawyer, and the three that I picked are relevant to my story that I've already shared with you guys. So the first one is that you must be certain of the specialty of law you want to practice before law school. I mean, I first of all told you that I've never had it all together. Nobody wakes up and knows exactly what they want. You're influenced by one thing or the other, you know. So it's okay not to really understand the end of your journey from where you are at the moment. It takes time with research, with hearing from other people, with coming for webinars like this webinar. It opens your eyes to new career pathways that you can actually follow. The second one is that lawyers are always argumentative, aggressive, and confrontational. So the backstory is that while I was in secondary school, someone challenged my dream of becoming a lawyer. You remember I told you that in secondary school, since I joined the arts class, I automatically wanted to become a lawyer because what other course do people do when they go to art class? So I wanted to become a lawyer. And then I was quiet. I wasn't argumentative. I'm still not aggressive or argumentative. Really, to become a lawyer, you have to have a good grasp of the knowledge of the law. That's the first thing. It helps you to be able to have good conversations with people and drive your point home. You have to learn to be persuasive, to be a good negotiator and mediator. These are the things that are entailed in becoming a good lawyer rather than being aggressive, argumentative, confrontational, even though there's sometimes that you would be confrontational to certain circumstances or people, but then that's not the bedrock of becoming a lawyer. Then the third one is lawyers must be litigators. No, that's why you're here. There are other opportunities. Um, you see, your host is a health professional. You have your other host who is into entertainment law and intellectual property. And you have a number of people that are working in other government institutions. They are in-house counsel, and they are educators. So there's various opportunities out there for you. You must not be a litigator. Being a litigator is good, but you must not be one. So there are various practice options for lawyers that are called to the Nigerian bar. Um, First and foremost, lawyers, the practice of law is dynamic. Like I've mentioned, that some people are intellectual law, property lawyers, um, others are into entertainment, others are lecturers, others they just give advice, others are appointed. you know. So I've broken it down into various categories to make it easier for you. Now, I would also want you to know that I actually think highly of tutelage. So I have been put on notice that most of you are law students. So I would advise you that once you finish your university and you get called to the bar, you should actually consider going for tutelage. You should practice litigation for at least 1 or 2 years. It will do you good. I went through that. That's why I'd advise you to do that. I mean, those people that went straight into other aspects, there's nothing wrong with them. They have good careers as well. But then there's an edge that you get from actually practicing law. It opens your mindset to other opportunities. It helps you to understand your interests. It helps you to be meticulous, it helps to build your confidence and so on and so forth. Now, the first category is litigation. So you have those lawyers that actually go represent their clients in court, those advocates, while you have those that are just solicitors. They work behind the scenes. They just work in the office, prepare documents, and so on and so forth. They don't necessarily go to court, but they can go to court. Then you have specialized litigators. So in big top tier law firms in Nigeria, you discover that they have better structure than other law firms. So they have different units in their law firms, and those units by far help with people's interests. So you can have the unit that is in charge of intellectual property and a unit in charge of real estate. Then you now have the unit in charge of litigation itself, and even in litigation, you might have those that are in charge of um, criminal cases and so on and so forth. A good example is those people that work in Ministry of Justice. They have these units. So you have like the criminal unit, and then you have the civil litigation, and sometimes they even break it down to people that go to the appellate court, while those that just start from the grassroots and they just stay there. So the second point is that you have non-litigation practice. So these lawyers are like most of us that I mean the host and myself, we're not into everyday litigation practice. We don't go to court, but we're still lawyers and we're doing well in our areas of interest. So other people that are practicing law but are not directly into litigation are in-house counsel. You find that there are some people that work in the bank in their legal division. They are in-house counsel, though they don't necessarily go to court to represent their bank. They advise them, they draft legal documents for them, then they outsource every other hard work that involves litigation. That's what I mean by hard work that involves litigation, yes. Then you now have government service. So you realize that our government, they do give people appointments like Solicitor General of the Federation, Attorney General of the Federation, and the like. And then in the Ministry of Justice, you find your Director of Public Prosecutions and all whatnot. So that's another category. Then the last category is academia and research. You have law lecturers, you have professors, uh, you have legal researchers, that work in different institutes. And then you have people that work in the National Judicial Institute. Then how do you find and choose a niche for yourself? How do you find and choose a niche for yourself? So it's like, so I've also I've told you that I would encourage you to actually undergo tutelage. It's very important. It actually helps to set a path for you. Like for myself, it opened my eyes to a lot of things, like the contacts that you make, the people you talk to every day, the work they might ask you to do, which might not be interesting, but at the end you realize that it was good for you anyway, you know. So I strongly, strongly, strongly advise you in whatever you do, you should consider at least 2 years of tutelage. It actually helps you. It helps your interest. You'll be able to know if this is for you or you like to jump to another ship. So you should also consider your interests and strengths. What exactly is your strength? Do you like litigation? Because I suppose that you've already gone for tutelage. Do you actually like where you are? Is it difficult? Do you prefer to talk to people instead and educate them? Or do you just like research? Because once you're practicing law, you actually would find yourself researching. You research every day for every case, and every time you have to go to court, you must do research. So do you enjoy it? Then you task yourself to research potential niches. What are the potential niches out there, you know? What can I actually go into? What's new? What's the rate, you know? What's happening in the legal market at the moment? That's the next point. What's happening in the legal market? Um, Time is into entertainment law, and you know it's a race. People are so about entertainment, especially in our country today. Talk less of worldwide. So it can draw you. You know, it must not only be an ingrown interest. You can actually develop interest for something that is the race in the market right now. Or tech, people are about AI. You can actually want to toe that line because it's a good market. Then you focus on that area of choice that you pick. You can touch different areas, but it's good to focus on one and build yourself and become good at it. So any area you pick, you must develop yourself, become an expert, tell yourself that you have to stand out because there would be competition. The market is large enough for everybody, but you have to make up your mind that you will stand out. In making up your mind to stand out, you have to put in the work. There's nobody that became great by just lying down in bed. They all had to put in the work to get to where they are. And when they got to where they are, for them to stay on that platform, they had to always put in the work. So there's no time that you would relax. You always, always, always have to put in the work. Next slide, please. How to find your purpose in law. I try to define purpose in accordance with the law. So my definition is that purpose is the deep sense of fulfillment that a lawyer derives in the practice of law that is meaningful to them. Therefore, purpose in law is relative because people and their interests differ. So you know, generally when they say, "What's your purpose in life?" people tend to ask you that as you grow up. What's your purpose in life? It makes you to take a pause and think, what's my purpose? So you have to search yourself. It takes deep searching of yourself within you. And then what you find is that, oh, I find fulfillment in this, or this piques my interest, or I worry about this particular thing. So these are little bits that lead you to understand that, oh, I should toe this line. I would find purpose in this, you know. Now, in law, the purpose is relative. Um, Temilari finds purpose in entertainment law. Sike finds purpose in beauty and health law. I find purpose in where I work. I mean, having continuous education, judicial education for judges is different from the usual, you know. I never even knew about it till I stumbled and fell into it. But I find purpose in that. There's satisfaction. What and where one finds meaning and great satisfaction varies from one individual to another. Don't allow somebody bully you, or you get weary thinking that you're not doing enough and everything. Just know that you're different, your purpose is different. You just have to take a step back and go through yourself, search your soul, and know exactly what your purpose is, then throw that line. Finding purpose in law involves deep reflection on your interests and values as you explore different areas of law whilst looking out for meaningful work. That's a very, very good point as well. So while finding purpose, you should also ensure that the work you're going into is meaningful. I mean, our world is evolving, so as you try to find purpose, you should also hold on to things that are the in thing in the world at the moment. Don't be stuck on things of the past. Also move with the wavelength. Then you align your legal work with your passion so as to derive maximum fulfillment in your career. Above all, you should strive to make a difference, to stay on top, and make great impact wherever you find yourself. That should be your mantra, I mean. Next slide, please. Okay. How to approach legal education for unexplored niches. Hmm. I've said that there's no man that woke up knowledgeable. People that have had great, great, great inventions like the light bulb that we enjoy, people that are tarring the roads for us, different things and different aspects of life. They didn't wake up with all that knowledge. They put in the work. So your area of interest is your interest because you're curious to unravel more information about that area of law. That's the first thing that you should recognize. It is your interest because you're curious to unravel more information. So why don't you do more research on this your interest? Research. Know if your interest is actually your interest. Because you might have interest in something just because it shines from afar. But then when you get to it, you might not really enjoy what you're doing. As the earlier said, you can actually um, be a lawyer outside the courtroom and find out that you have no deep sense of fulfillment in what you do. By all means, you can return to litigation. That's one good thing about our profession. It allows you to swing from one place to the other. Put in your best and stay consistent at all times. Put in your best and stay consistent. It's not enough for you to put in your best. You have to stay consistent to remain at the level that you're in and always try to even do better. I mean, give room for challenges. There are various challenges in life. There's no one that has it all together. People that you think that they are very comfortable where they are, they're enjoying their work, ask them, you will find out that they have their own form of challenges. The way life is, you must have challenges at every corner. So give room to the fact that there will be challenges, but you would put in your best. You can conquer those challenges. You have it in you, I mean. You can conquer every challenge that comes your way once you put in your best and you do the right things. And then give yourself room to grow. You can't stay stagnant, you must grow. You just have to grow. In the area of expertise, you have to grow. Little wonder, the Nigerian Bar Association, they have a program, a continuous legal development program that they have for lawyers. They require you to meet up some number of points each year. And of recent, they require you to have 5 points that you should have attended at least 5 webinars or workshops law related that they have certified before they let you pay your bar practicing fee, which is at March 31st. You should have paid that. So the idea is that you don't stay in one place. You have to learn, you have to move. The world doesn't just stay in one place. There are new things. Read, learn. Next slide. Sorry, just a minute. So, what are the ethical considerations in the practice of law? Every field has their ethics. Life generally has its ethics. It might not be written in the sky, but we all know it as morals in life generally. So, for lawyers, we have the Rules of Professional Conduct for Legal Practitioners 2023. That's the updated version. This actually encapsulates all the areas that have to do with the practice of law, be it that you are into litigation, or you work in a government establishment, or you are appointed, you know, as far as you fall under the umbrella of law, this applies to you. I've mentioned just a few. So the first one is in Rule 1. It says that you should actually promote justice, maintain high professional standards. It holds you to a general standard as a lawyer, that in your dealings, your everyday dealings, you actually maintain professional standards. So you can't be a lawyer and then you would actually be caught doing criminal activities, or in representing your client, they give you their monies to hold, then you go and use it for your ailing mother. Let's say she's in the hospital, you go and use it. You can't do that. You must actually be a responsible person and keep to this. Then Rule 9 says that you should pay your practicing fees as at when due. I mentioned this because one day, someday, soonest, you're going to become lawyers. And when you're called to the Nigerian bar, it's very good for you to pay your practicing fees. Even if you decide not to stick to litigation, please pay your practicing fees. It helps you to still be in the flock, and then you never know when it will be useful to you. Remember, our profession is a free flow profession. You can move from litigation to non-litigation practice and then move back. What then happens to you? Please pay your practicing fees. And then considering advertising and soliciting, this profession is a shy one. By no means are you allowed to go and create a very big billboard, just the way Coke would do there, and put it on the street, advertising for your law firm? Actually, help people carry on compliance with their establishments. Oh no, actually, it would help you with any legal advisory that has to do with health law. Or I run Tamarix Law firm. Be my billboard. Nah, you can't do that. It's a shy profession. It has room for you to advertise, but it's minimal. Then the third point is Rule 11, continuous professional development. I've previously spoken on this. You cannot stick to what you just know. You become redundant. You can't. You can't afford to be that. You have to always strive for better. So you must always go to acquire more knowledge in different areas of law, in the area of law you are interested in. Why I said different areas of law is because it's good to have interest, it's good to build yourself in a particular area of law. But as a human being and as a lawyer, you're considered to have little bit of information of everything to build yourself in other things as well. But you'd put more energy into your interest. But it's good for you to always have knowledge of one thing or the other. Then the third one is in Rule 31 and 36. You have a duty to respect the court and carry on good decorum, respect dignity and honor. This goes for people that are into litigation. It doesn't mean that if you're not a litigator, you meet a judge, you would behave anyhow. Please, no. So for those people that are into litigation, when they go to court, they're expected to dress properly. They're expected to stand when the court um, comes into session and sit after the court sits. They take a bow. They're expected to speak to the court with respect. and honor. Even when they do not agree with the judgment, they cannot just stand up and say all sorts. They will stand up and respectfully, endorse the court industry before sitting down. So that's how the profession is. It helps you. And you see that morally, you should actually be good. You should have respect for one another. Then the last point I'll be making is on general dressing. As a law student, you should dress well. As a human being to even start, you should dress well. As a lawyer, you have more reason to dress well. Please smell good. Don't allow yourself to ooze mouth odor, or your body is smelling and all of that. It's embarrassing. Please always smell good. Dress well, smell good. Your appearance makes people treat you in a particular light. That's how they view you and that's how they treat you. Imagine that you're smelling like in sorry to say, but in early practice of litigation, depending on um the law firm you find yourself and the circumstances of life, you might find out that and your background as well. So you might not always or start off with a car, and you have good AC in your car. You might find yourself trekking the road of wherever you find yourself. It is offensive, highly offensive, to come in all sweaty and smelly and everything. So you have to treat that before leaving the house. Please clean up well and spray up. Carry an extra vial of perfume in your bag. Carry hanky to wipe your sweat and dust your shoe. Please look good. Your appearance would create a niche of clients you have in litigation and non-litigation. I mean, people give you respect for how you look and how you smell. Just put a stamp on it. You should always have good manners. This is morally right, and in law, it's even extra right that your manners are top notch. Please have good manners and good etiquette. Then always smile, and be confident. Our profession helps you and builds you to to be a professional, to be a person people can look up to. Little wonder you tell your younger ones at home or your aunties and uncles that I'm reading law, and all of a sudden they begin to call you the law or other adjectives. But the borderline is that they have much respect for you because the profession calls and demands respect. Now, in having that, you should also wear it, wear that confidence, wear that respect. People would respect you for how you carry yourself. You are worth it always. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much. Please, I would like one or two people mute and say something to our speaker. Rachel, we're very grateful. You said a lot, and I don't know how you managed to compress everything in such a short time. Anyone would like to say something before we move on to our question and answer session? Anybody at all? This is an opportunity to speak. Okay. Um. All right. Let's move on to thank you very much um for this presentation. Mostly because number one, like I said already, you were very straightforward, but at the same time, it was a lot. So I just want to point out the fact that we're going to have the replay of this on YouTube, so you can actually share to other people because she was throwing a lot of information at us, and it was wow. Thank you very much. So we'll have opportunities to replay this, and any questions that you have, please ask it now because this is when we can get her to answer them live. So if you have any question, please indicate. But in the meantime, I will just address the some of the things that were okay. Someone has indicated. Maranzu Ejogu, please, you can speak.
Yeah, okay, good evening.
Good evening.
Um, Though I entered late, but I really got value, at least the few minutes I entered. So I wanted to ask a question because I went to a senior advocate's office and he asked me what was my interest. And I told him, sir, I'm interested in corporate practice and I want the area of law where I can make money. That's exactly what I told him, right?
Yeah.
So he he's a senior advocate, so he first of all laughed and was like, well, it's good though, but every lawyer should he used the word. I don't know whether everybody is able here. He said every lawyer should be grounded on litigation first before the money. That we should not be
Mm,
after the money. And I was like, okay, but sir, my passion, you can have passion in litigation, but passion without reward, to an extent, the passion would die. Because last, sorry for using that slang, but at last, everybody will be expecting you to be able to, put your bills, pay your rents and all. So he was like, no, that I should first of all, learn the normal litigation process. And also I wanted to ask our speaker, is
yeah.
it good? Because I felt okay, maybe I was talking from inexperience. Because personally, I'm interested in corporate practice. I don't really want to go to court too much. Like, I don't really want to do that. I want to be an kind of in-house counsel. So I want to ask, is it good to start saying, okay, I'm interested in this aspect early? Or, like as the senior advocate said, you should first of all test the water, like test litigation, because he was like litigation is like the core of law practice. That these other ones can, solicitorship can add, can come like, by the side, but litigation is the core. I wanted to ask the speaker whether is it good for me to start saying, okay, I want corporate, or should I just you know test the waters first, and then with time I now know what I now like narrow my interest.
Um, all right. Before Rachel, before you answer, there are other questions. Do you want all of them first, or do you want to answer one after the other?
I'll do one after the other.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
So after
So
she's
that,
done answering, Joy can ask your question.
yes.
Thank you.
So thank you very much for your question. I didn't very well get your name, but thank you very much for your question. And first off, I want to let you know that your interest is valid. It is. So you can actually veer into corporate practice from the get-go. But as I have earlier stated, that I highly recommend tutelage. So I buy into the idea of that senior advocate that you met. It's actually good for you to start with like a year or two in a law firm where you actually practice litigation for that period of time. It opens up your mind, and it's the core of law actually. So every other thing is built on it. So I'd advise you that you should actually undergo tutelage. You can start from your NYC. So when they want to post you, you can ask them to post you to a law firm. That way, you are supported with your NYC alawi aside the little money that they give you from that law firm. Then thirdly, you spoke about the importance of money, that you really just want to make money. It makes sense. I mean, I was vulnerable enough to tell you people that I started with litigation, and then at some point I shift to where I am today, judicial education. You know, part of the reason is interest, and part of it is money. But the few years that I stayed back and just held ground, despite what I envisioned that by now I should be making so millions of naira, because when you see lawyers, they look fresh, they smell good. Oh my god, they drive good cars. And you want that. They didn't build Rome in a day. It took them time and hard work, unfortunately. or fortunately. So you must actually apply yourself and just hold ground, learn before you ship. In fact, while you are working in that law firm, you can start by helping people register their companies, you know, and meet up with several compliances that they need to meet up for the various organizations that they once registered or they've already registered it. That way you're into corporate a bit, unless you want to veer into something totally different, but then that way you're touching part of it.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Joy, you can unmute and ask your question.
Thank you very much, Ma. Thank you very much, Mrs. I don't know if it's Mrs. Thank you very much.
Your volume is very low. Can you
So can
increase
you
your
hear me
voice a bit?
now?
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Okay, thank you for that wonderful lecture. I could relate so well with your lecture. It was really beautiful. Thank you, Ma. Okay, so my question is, how do you integrate your interests? Like, how do you balance your interests when you have to, let's say, two, three interests? For example, I'm someone who is interested in IP law. I'm also interested in alternative dispute resolution and international law. And someone told me, Joy, you have to streamline your interests. You have to focus on one thing. So, but I find myself loving alternative dispute resolution, loving IPL, and loving international law. And it's really difficult to just go with one or to choose one at the moment. So, what do you suggest, Ma? How can I navigate through this? Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Can I answer? Okay. Joy, thank you very much for your question. And thank you for thanking me. So, I totally relate to what you're saying. I told you people from the beginning that I never had it all together. Like it was just a moving train gradually till I found myself here. And while moving, I touched this aspect, that aspect, the other aspect, and all of that till I was able to see and say, oh, I think I like this. I think I have strength in this, you know. So that should apply to you too, Joy. My own candid advice is for you to research on these three aspects of law you like. Try them out. I don't know whether you're still in the university or you're serving, but if you are in the university, do some research about these areas of law. If you're out of university and serving, or you're about to start serving, you should actually try to see that you'd find yourself in a law firm. Even if you're not posted to a law firm, you know, you can make out time, create, let's say one day, your CDF day, and have an agreement with a law firm that you go there just for you to have a little touch with what they are doing. It will open up your mind to ADR and look for a law firm that are actually into ADR and all these other aspects of law that you have interest in. So it open up your mind to how they actually do it. It's no longer book knowledge, it's reality, and it will help you streamline your interest. So it's okay that you don't have it all together at the moment, but you can have it together. You just need to brace up, put in a bit of work, and you'll get there.
Thank you very much. Sike, I think you want to add to that, right?
Yes. Hi, Joy. Thank you so much for asking that question. For someone who has 10,000 interests, it's definitely something I can relate to. And just like Rachel said, try your hands out at many things. But I think also very importantly, you might think that you're interested in something. Like there's something Rachel said earlier on about your interest. Delve into the research of it to really figure out if you actually are interested in it. Because sometimes on the surface, you feel like, this is something I like, this is something that I would be interested in. But when you do some research and start to study, you might realize that, oh, it's not really what I thought it was. So you might not be as interested as you think now. And if at the end of the day you do end up having so many interests, as you were speaking, you said you're interested in ADR, you're interested in international law. Who says you cannot work in ADR in international law? Who says that is not a thing, right? Just because, and sometimes just because we haven't seen somebody do something, we feel like it's not a thing, but there's always a first for a reason. There is someone I met a few years ago who works in, so she works in HR, but she works in compensation analysis. And what she used to do was that she used to analyze salary structures across different fields and in different countries and consult multinationals on how to structure their salaries. That is something I have never heard before in my life, right? But somebody's out there doing it. And I'm talking, this person is earning at the time, earning in dollars, millions of naira on a monthly basis, a young unmarried woman living her best life. So sometimes just because we haven't heard of something, we feel like, and also because the people around us might also not have heard of it, they can't advise us accordingly. And it's very important to recognize that and to ask yourself, if nobody has ever done it, why can't I? Of course, it's not easy. It's nice to have a template. It's nice to have somebody that has gone ahead of you who can maybe mentor you. But if you don't have that person, then you can be that person. You can be the one to start it out. So don't ever feel like you need to keep yourself in this box. So far, so good. I've never met anybody that has introduced themselves as a beauty lawyer before. And even when me and Larry first started having the conversation, I was like, I've never heard it, but it makes sense. And the truth is, whenever I introduce myself that way, people are like, oh, what was that? What does that do? And so you can be that person. I'm an international ADR specialist. Like, who says that is not an introduction? You've already gotten me, when you say that. I'm a lawyer that specializes in international ADR. It's there. It's already there for you. So really, again, thank you so much. I'm thanking Rachel. We have nobody's raising their hands right now, but really, there are so many things even I am taking away from what Rachel has shared. And the point is to open up your heart and your mind to all the possibilities. All the possibilities. People talking about wanting to be in-house counsel. We hope that our next guest will be an in-house counsel for a huge Nigerian brand. And so don't ever let anybody tell you that. And I doubt that that person actually ever worked litigation, if I remember correctly. Not to say that you don't need to work litigation, but at least to the best of my knowledge, that person has only worked in-house counsel. And she worked, I think, for Yojimoto. Is it Yojimoto? What's the name? Sojimoto, that huge real estate developer in Lagos. And then now works for, a huge Nigerian company as well, in-house all the time. So nobody's path is the same. It's not linear all the time. So just be excellent at it, keep at it, as Rachel said. Be sure to be excellent at it and keep at it, and you'll just find the world open up to you in that way. Thank you so much. Do we have any more questions?
Sorry, just to add to what you said, it's okay to do it scared. Please just do it. Even when you're scared, do it. That's the only way to build yourself.
Thank you so much.
You. I actually would like to add to some of the answers that we've given so far to the two questions that we got. So for the first question, I'm going to should I say contribute to what Rachel said about money being a very good motivation. Because I think sometimes when people think of careers, unfortunately, we place a huge part of our identity on our careers. And so because of that, anytime we make some decisions, we start to feel a certain level of disconnect. And to be honest, in life, there are many priorities. There are going to be times in your life when there are going to be many times in your life when the only thing important to you will actually be money. And in that particular case, like you said, when you are in that kind of space, without money, passion is irritating to your ear. So yes, money is actually a very big deal. It's a very big reason to choose. However, I want to put a disclaimer. In the practice of law, the area of law you practice does not necessarily guarantee any money. So you can be a solicitor, you can be someone that doesn't do litigation, an ADR expert, and you will never get clients and you'll be broke. You can be a corporate lawyer and be broke. You can be an in-house lawyer and not get paid 5 months salary. You can be a litigation lawyer and have your clients give you checks that have bounced. It happens. So the truth is that there is no one area of law that is better than the other. Of course, there are some that look more glamorous. I mean, if you think about it, many litigation lawyers, especially if you go for our NBA conferences, by the time you see their cars, by the time you hear some of the stories, just one election petition can change your life.
Exactly.
One election petition can change your life 360. You get, but how many of such briefs can you get? Or it could even be a particular dispute at the International Criminal Court, right? It could be a criminal dispute that can change your life financially. It could be civil, it could be anything. But my point is this, that it doesn't actually matter what area. If money is your motivation, then your concern should not necessarily be the areas of law, because as a corporate lawyer, especially if you're working either for yourself or for a corporate firm that doesn't do litigation, you have clients that want to pay you 2,000 naira for company search, and that's all. And then you'll go and meet another, they'll collect the what's it called, the code from you, and go and meet another lawyer to go and run the full registration. There are clients like that. Personally, one of the reasons why I got angry at the law firm I was working at one particular day, that was when I was still doing litigation. I was in court and the man brought a check to me. Check. First of all, why am I collecting a check for my appearance fee? Why am I not getting paid? Why is the money not being put in my account? I was getting a check, and then the check was for 4,000 naira. I was supposed to go to the bank and cash in a check of 4,000 naira. First of all, how much will it cost me to go to the bank? I really don't understand. So I've been in situations like that, but at the same time, litigation has also given me money. I've also been in situations where the 2,000 naira search thing was actually a real life example, and it happened this year. Even now that Tamarix Law is an established law firm, that somebody offered me 2,000 naira for search and got very upset that I turned him down. I don't know why he was surprised. But these things happen. And so my point is that poverty is in every area of law. Money is also in every area of law. Your decision for practicing specific areas of law because of money should be tied to things like location. Okay, you are in Lagos. Maybe Lagos is not really the best place for property disputes, but it may be a good place for corporate law. It may be a very good place for fintech, right? Even in the entertainment industry. But even the entertainment industry, not so much in Lagos. The reason not being that most people have entertainment transactions online. Most people are not usually physical together. People are shooting a film in South Africa, and they are having a distribution deal in Canada, and then they are paying certain people for post-production in Nigeria. These things happen. Now, this will now bring me to the issue that Joy raised about ADR, international law, and intellectual property law. That's a very funny combination of laws. The reason I'm saying it is not because it's strange. It's funny because all those laws work together. So how are you confused? If you are an intellectual property lawyer, you help people, you advise people on their intellectual property. Are you not going to report the disputes that arise out of the intellectual property? And is it only in Nigeria? Like, you actually need knowledge of international laws. For instance, let's say your client is Wizkid and he wants to distribute his music. Is he only distributing his music to people in Nigeria? No, he's putting it on streaming platforms, on international platforms. So if, for instance, somebody should steal his song, it's ADR you're going to need. It's your knowledge of intellectual property law you're going to use. And it is your knowledge of international law, understanding which treaties bind which countries. For instance, I'll use royalties. Let's say that the money he's supposed to be paid, right, from his music is hanging somewhere. And he's the performer, but he didn't write the song. He didn't do any other thing. The only thing he did was to perform the song. Now, in a normal scenario, he is entitled to something called neighboring rights royalties. But weirdly enough, America has not signed that particular treaty, but most of the countries in the world have. So meaning that he may be able to win that case in any other country, or if he sends a demand letter, they may comply. But an American company can just say, go to hell. Now, if you don't have an understanding of international laws and treaties, how exactly are you going to solve it? Intellectual property law is not enough for that. Like APR is not enough for that. Also be of international laws. So my point is, those three laws you mentioned, you cannot do any one of them without the other. It's impossible. So that is not even a very good example, you get. And another thing, the last thing I want to say before we move on to other things is that in the first 5 years of practice, the most important thing for you is to expose yourself. This is not really the time to focus per se. Don't just, personally, I'm a specialized lawyer. I work mostly with filmmakers, tech, people in tech, and even the people in tech are usually people that are affiliated with the entertainment industry. I work with filmmakers, musicians, comedians, and a couple of other people, but all of them are adjacent within specific industries. So this may sound a bit contradictory because I'm a specialized lawyer myself. But the most important thing you can do is to expose yourself to as much as possible. How much of litigation do you know? So that when you're drafting a contract for somebody and you get to the dispute resolution clause, you don't write rubbish. If you have a good understanding, okay, this is how litigation works. You can get certain injunctions, or you can do certain things that can be able to help ensure that this contract is even binding in the first place. Or maybe having an understanding that the laws of a particular state in Nigeria are different from other laws. Okay, so what is the act that governs both of these issues? So my point is, it's very important to learn as much as possible. So that first 5 years of your career is to learn, because like I said, poverty is in every sector. You don't know what will actually end up making you money. You don't know what will actually end up bringing you to the limelight. And very importantly, your interest will change. It's very easy to say, okay, I'm passionate about this today, but what about next year? What about next tomorrow? Oh, okay, I like real estate law. I like agric law, like real estate and agriculture. And so because of that, you're thinking, okay, intellectual property, plant variety, of specific things like that. What if you wake up tomorrow and then boom, AI is everywhere? Can you keep up? And then you take maybe 1 or 2 AI classes, and then you realize that I actually like AI, and I think I prefer it to this. Or I've decided I don't want to live in Nigeria again. I want to live in Canada. Canada, and I pass the bar. Will I be practicing the exact same real estate law I was practicing in Nigeria? I'm passionate about real estate too. But what will I do at every stage? So it's very important that, yes, it's good to have passions, but your passion is not the most important thing. Unfortunately, your passion is not the most important thing. The most important thing is your exposure. How much do you know? How much have you tried? And like I mentioned very early at the beginning of this webinar, the purpose of this webinar is to expose you to multiple areas of laws. And every quarter, we're going to bring in a different guest that is working in a different area of law, so that you can see that, okay, it is possible for me to get here. I have a mental model. There's an example that I can follow. And at the end of this webinar, we're going to have the LinkedIn, we're going to have the contact or LinkedIn link of our speaker, so that you guys will follow her. If you have questions, reach out to her. You can follow up with things that she does, so that you will know more about what exactly it is that she does. And that is what we intend to do for every other speaker. So when we say we are exposing you to multiple areas of law, that is how we are doing it. We are bringing these real life examples directly to your screen, so you can see that it's possible, so that you can see and then you can emulate, or you can decide that, okay, now that I've heard what this looks like, this is actually not what I want to do. And my closing remark is this: law isn't such a special area of law. It is just a job. It's we shouldn't idolize, we shouldn't get into the trap of idolizing it so much. Law is just a job. The same way HR is a job, the same way medicine is a job. You get, it is possible for you to also take a break anytime you want, right? Your reason can be that, oh, I'm moving to a particular city, that's why I want to do in-house. Or I tried to get a job and the only job available was as the legal advisor to let's say a particular person, maybe it can just be an individual that wants his a personal legal advice. It may not even be a company where you're doing in-house, or it could be anything. Maybe the legal position in the legal department of a government ministry, it was open, you took the job. It is just a job. So don't place your entire personality or identity around it. Find other things in life that give you happiness. Find other things in life. Love your family. Just have to remember that the law is a job before it is anything. You can enjoy it, yes, but it should not be something that is so valuable that you can't even drop. You have to get to a point where you can say, okay, you know what, this law is overwhelming. I need to take a step back. You should be able to do that. And with that, I think I'll hand over to Sike before I officially close the webinar. And I would like us to follow us on Instagram especially, because that's where you're going to get Miss Rachel's Instagram account from. You're going to see it in our post. And then follow us on Instagram, and then you get as much details as possible. And we're also going to post a link to our WhatsApp channel where we have regular updates. And we're going to, and for those of us that have already been in the channel, we're going to have a lot more regular updates very soon. I mean, we have a new tax, we have new tax laws recently, so there's a lot for us to learn. And over to you, Sike.
All right, thank you so much, Pam. Thank you, Rachel. Again, this has been such a wonderful time learning from one another, sharing our stories. I really hope that everyone on this call is walking away with more clarity, deeper insights, better excitement about their career in law. Really, I hope that that's what you're walking away with, that you're excited to begin or to continue your career in law because now you have more clarity and you have guidance. We want to especially thank Rachel for being a guest today. You've been on since the very moment we started. We are grateful for your time. We've shared your LinkedIn profile in the chat. Please make sure to follow Rachel on LinkedIn. And if you need any help, in her field, I'm sure she would offer you any guidance that she can, as within her ability to. We have a mentorship program, but we're not launching now. I'm just letting people know, for those who are currently on this call and may not be on the next call, we have a mentorship program here at Tamarix Law where we receive applications. People have been asking since we started to mentor them, and so we have a structured system of mentorship. The next cohort that we're going to be taking is in September. So if you want us to mentor you, just wait 3 more months. We will be taking new applications, and you can apply at that time. Like Larry already said, we have a WhatsApp channel. If you just search on WhatsApp, Lawyers Without Courtrooms, you will find our WhatsApp channel. It's just Lawyers Without Courtrooms on WhatsApp. You will find our channel and you can stay connected with us on what we're working on as regards the webinar, and we share more insights there. Whenever we see an opportunity for a job or a new development in the law, we share it there. And it's very important. It's a wonderful community that we're growing there. So make sure to check on WhatsApp, Lawyers Without Courtrooms. You will definitely find us. Be sure to also be checking your emails because we'll be sending follow-up emails. Please fill the feedback form. Let us know, how did you enjoy this session? Did you enjoy Rachel's talk? Would you like her to come back? Would you like us to start having physical meetings? Do you have a hall somewhere that you want to host all of us? Let us know in the feedback form. It will be greatly beneficial for us. Thank you for your time this evening, and I'll be handing over to Tem to close us off. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. So I actually would like to have everyone, or at least some of us, on mute and just say 1 or 2 things. Say thank you to Miss Rachel. I want to hear your voices.
Thank you.
Hi, Rachel. Thank you. Thank you, Ma. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma. I really do appreciate
Thank you, Ma.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for the fact that you actually were able to answer our questions, give us a lot, give us backstories as to why you decided to pursue the particular path you are on, at least to give us more context, and very importantly, to show us possibilities in this particular area of law. Because I'm sure that there are many of us that are interested in the justice system, in research, in our judicial reforms. So yes, like Sike already did, Sike has posted the Rachel's LinkedIn in the comments section. That's the chat box here on this meeting. But you can send us a DM on Instagram if you want to join. If you want to join our mentorship group, send a DM on Instagram. If you want to join the we have a Lawyers Without Courtrooms channel that's actually for this webinar, so it follows based on the people that we meet in this webinar. And if you want to continue with us, join the channel. Any updates we have, even if it's job openings, we'll drop it there. Any recent news articles that we think you should know about, new areas of laws that are arising every day, because we cannot have a webinar every day. Like we mentioned, the webinar is only once in 3 months. So join that particular channel. But whatever you want to be a part of that we are doing, send us a DM on Instagram, or you can send us a message on LinkedIn, whichever works. We are there for you. So like CK mentioned, in the next 3 months, we're going to be taking a new cohort of mentees, people that are going to be joining the mentorship program. So if you're interested, send a DM as well. And with this, I want to say thank you to everyone for joining. Thank you for giving your time. We appreciate you here. Thank you for giving us your time. That's 1 hour and 30 solid minutes. We are grateful, and I want to say that you're going to all get emails. If you didn't get to sign up for the webinar, but you join through the link, please sign up so that we have your email, and then we can also send you this follow-up emails. The part of the things that will be in the follow-up emails will be a replay of this particular video. So if you have anyone that didn't have the opportunity to join, all you have to do is send the replay link to that particular person. And if for any reason you don't get our email, you can just go to our YouTube channel, Tamarix Law, Tamarix, and Law, Law. Once you find us on YouTube, you can even also watch our last webinar. It's up already. This current webinar is going to be up in this coming week. I say thank you to everyone. Thank you for joining. Have a beautiful night. Thank you very much, Rachel. Thank you, CK.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, my host. You did very well and you're doing very well. I wish you all the very best. Everyone here, I wish you the very best. You are worth it and you can make it.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.